chosen one. Someone just confessed what they all did behind your back. And while the details are disgusting, the truth is finally breaking through the fog. And here's the part that flips the whole script. This confession doesn't expose your weakness, it exposes your power. Now the group is spiraling, receipts are surfacing, screenshots exist, lies are collapsing under the weight of truth. Yet here you stand, untouched, elevated, and stronger for every hit they hoped would break you. What they meant for your destruction only transformed you into someone they can no longer reach. These people had actual meetings about you, not casual conversations, not random gossip, strategic planning sessions where you were the sole agenda. Gatherings were scheduled, notes were taken, action items were created. Destroying your peace became a full-time project for multiple people. The confessor described rooms you were never invited to, where your name was written on whiteboards. Your patterns were analyzed like generals studying enemy territory. When you posted online, how you responded to conflict, what made you emotional, what triggered your defenses, everything was documented with frightening precision. But here's what wasn't realized while you were being studied. You were evolving. Every meeting held about you made you stronger in silence. Every strategy developed meant you were naturally developing immunity. Others were so focused on taking you down that the fact you were rising beyond reach got missed entirely. That's not a weakness, that's dominance. The confessor revealed how each meeting would start with fake concern. Someone would say, "I'm worried about them," or "something seems off." But worry was never the point. Building a case was the point. Creating a narrative that positioned you as unstable, unreliable, too emotional became the goal. People needed to doubt your truth before you even spoke it. Responses to things you hadn't said yet were rehearsed. Counter-narratives for situations that hadn't happened were prepared. An entire false version of you was built, and then others were systematically invited into that fiction. And here's where it gets interesting. While fiction was being created, you were living truth, and truth always wins, always. What's coming in the next parts is going to show you exactly how the operation ran. The roles that were played, the tactics that were used, the psychological warfare that was deployed. But remember this as we go deeper. Every tactic used that didn't break you proved you're built different. Every attack that didn't destroy you confirmed you're chosen different. Keep that energy as we dive into the darkness others created, because you're the light that survived it. The confessor revealed that talking about you wasn't random. Organization happened. Roles were assigned. Betraying you became a coordinated operation where each person had a specific function. This wasn't amateur hour. This was strategic warfare disguised as friendship. First was the voice of reason. This person's job was seeming balanced while planting doubt about your mental state. Things like "I see both sides" but would be said, and then only the side that made you look unstable would be presented. Appearing neutral while actively undermining you was mastered. This person was the Trojan horse, the inside operative. The one who seemed safe but was actually the most dangerous. Then there was the evidence collector. Your posts were being screenshotted, your messages were being saved, your every move was being documented. A case file was being built like a prosecutor preparing to destroy someone in court. Except you weren't on trial, you were being framed, and evidence was being collected not to find truth but to support a predetermined lie. The confessor admitted the role played personally was the insider, the one who stayed closest to you, who maintained the friendship while reporting everything back. Every vulnerable moment became intelligence. Every private struggle became ammunition. Every time you trusted someone with your pain, that pain got weaponized. That's not friendship, that's espionage. There was the mediator who'd reach out with fake concern. "Are you okay?" Not because care was real, but because fresh material was needed for the next meeting. Vulnerability and talking were needed so more ammunition could be gathered. Your openness became their opportunity. And always there was the amplifier, the one who spread the narrative beyond your circle, who whispered the coordinated story to people who barely knew you, who ensured that even strangers formed opinions about you based on lies. A reputation was being built for you that you never earned. The confessor revealed something even more twisted about these roles. Rehearsal actually happened. Performances were practiced before interacting with you. Group chats were used to remind each other to stay in character, to keep masks on, to not let you see what was really happening behind false eyes. Friendship became theater. Loyalty became improvisation. Trust became scripted manipulation. Feedback on performances was given to each other. After spending time with you, execution got critiqued. You almost broke character when the event got brought up. Nice save when the inconsistency got mentioned. Remember to seem more concerned next time. Betrayal was being workshopped like it was a creative project. Your pain became a portfolio piece for others. The confession just got more disgusting. Talking points were created. Literal scripts. Specific phrases were agreed upon for use when discussing you with others, like a marketing campaign, like political propaganda, like coordinated psychological warfare designed to control how people perceived you. Everyone heard the same version of events, the same carefully crafted lies, the same strategic spin that painted you as too emotional, too dramatic, too unstable, too much. These phrases got repeated so consistently that people hearing them from multiple sources started believing them as absolute truth. That's not gossip, that's calculated reputation destruction. Before social gatherings, coordination happened. Before mutual friends events, stories got aligned. Before any situation where you might be discussed, responses got rehearsed. The narrative remained consistent across all channels. If someone asked about you, exactly what to say was known. If someone defended you, exactly how to plant doubt was known. The confessor described how debriefing happened after seeing you. Notes got shared about what you said, how you seemed, what you wore, where you were going, who you were with. Your entire existence became a surveillance project for others. Your life became an obsession, and obsession is just another word for powerlessness. If you felt the truth in these words, hype this video so more chosen ones like you can see it. If you were really the problem being claimed, one conversation would have been enough. One meeting, one discussion, done. But multiple meetings were needed. Coordinated strategies, assigned roles, talking points, scripts. That level of effort isn't reserved for problems. That level of effort is reserved for threats. And you, chosen one, were a threat to an entire false reality. Messaging systems were set up that will make your skin crawl according to the confession. Group chats specifically dedicated to discussing you existed, not general friend groups where you occasionally came up. Dedicated channels where you were the sole topic, where your name appeared in thousands of messages, where your life got dissected like it was favorite entertainment for others. The confessor provided timestamps showing these conversations happened at all hours. Early morning before you woke up, late night after you went to sleep, during work hours when focus should have been on actual responsibilities. Thinking about you was constant, planning, strategizing, analyzing. You occupied more space in minds than personal goals and dreams occupied. That's not control over you, that's you controlling others without even trying. Specific channels existed for different aspects of the campaign. One for collecting evidence, one for planning events where you could be observed, one for debriefing after interactions, one for coordinating who would reach out to you when. Entire social structures got organized around managing the relationship with you, around controlling the narrative about you, around ensuring lies stayed consistent. Now we get to the truly evil part. The confessor revealed something called provocation protocols. Talking negatively about you wasn't enough. Situations got specifically engineered to trigger you, to make you react, to give others evidence that you were everything being claimed about you. Things calculated to upset you would be said, then shock would be acted when you responded naturally. Information would be withheld, plans would change at the last minute, exclusion would happen without explanation, all while careful watching happened to see how you'd react, hoping you'd break down so pointing at your reaction as proof of the narrative could happen. The confessor described what got called the setup. Situations got created where you couldn't win, where every response you had would be used against you. If you stayed quiet, withdrawal was the label. If you engaged, attention-seeking was the label. If you joked, inappropriate was the label. If you stayed serious, too intense was the label. The game was rigged from the start. Invitations would come to events where everyone had been briefed on the false narrative, where people were primed to see you through a negative lens, where your every word and action would be analyzed and twisted to fit predetermined conclusions. You walked into rooms full of people who had already decided who you were based on coordinated lies. After these events, analysis sessions happened, debriefing meetings where your behavior got dissected. Evidence got found in everything you did or didn't do. You laughed too loud. Engagement wasn't enough. Talking was too much. Staying quiet was too much. Nothing you did could ever be right, because being right was never an option others gave you. What the confessor revealed about the documentation process is particularly stomach-turning. Provocation and watching wasn't enough. Recording everything happened, not always literally, but mental notes got taken, screenshots when possible, voice recordings of conversations that would get replayed in meetings. Your reactions became data points in a research project others conducted on you. Notes got compared about how you responded to different types of provocation, what worked best to upset you, what barely affected you, what triggered the biggest reactions. Experimenting on you like you were a subject in a psychological laboratory happened, testing variables, measuring outcomes, refining approaches based on results. Let's talk about something that's going to make everything click into place. All those friendships that mysteriously cooled, all those people who slowly distanced themselves, all those connections that faded for reasons you couldn't understand. Random it wasn't, engineered it was. The confessor revealed that isolation engineering got practiced, systematically separating you from anyone who might support you happened, anyone who might see through manipulation, anyone who might validate your truth. You needed to be alone in their minds, vulnerable, surrounded only by people who believed the narrative being pushed. Casual conversations happened with mutual friends, coffee dates, friendly check-ins, but genuine these weren't. Strategic operations these were. Every conversation had a purpose. Plant doubt about you, reinforce the narrative, make sure no competing truth could take root. Things that sounded concerned would be said. I'm worried about them. Have you noticed they've been acting strange? These phrases sound caring, but design happened to make people question you before you could speak for yourself, to poison the well before you even approached it. Volunteering happened to check in with people after those people spent time with you, supposedly to see how you were doing, but really to counter anything you might have said that contradicted lies being spread, to ensure the fabricated story always reached ears before your truth could. An echo chamber got created where every voice except yours said the same thing, where every perspective except yours aligned with lies. You got surrounded by coordinated deception so complete, you started questioning your own reality. That's not others outsmarting you. That's others revealing overwhelming numbers were needed because beating you one-on-one wasn't possible. The confession revealed that lists actually got kept. Actual documented lists of people in your life who needed to be targeted. These people got categorized by how close someone was to you, by how much influence someone had, by how likely someone was to believe the narrative. Priority got set on who to approach first, who would be easiest to turn, who would require more effort. What got called influence mapping existed. Your social connections got drawn out like a military intelligence diagram. Key relationships got identified. Weak points in your support system got found. Who, if turned against you, would cause the most damage got determined. Your friendships became a network others needed to dismantle piece by piece. This is where the confession gets truly disturbing. Some members of this group actually researched manipulation tactics, psychological techniques got studied. Learning happened about gaslighting, triangulation, projection, and then deliberate, conscious, methodical implementation of these strategies against you occurred. This wasn't ignorance. This wasn't people being unintentionally toxic. This was calculated psychological warfare. Exactly what was being done was known. The impact was understood. And doing it anyway happened because you needed to be broken in their minds. Things clearly said would get denied, making you question your memory, making you doubt your perception of reality. I never said that. That's not what happened. Are you sure you're remembering correctly? Feeling crazy for remembering things that actually occurred got manufactured. Triangulation got practiced. People got played against each other. Conflict between you and others got created. Then stepping in as the peacemaker happened. The reasonable one, the mediator, when the ones creating the chaos in the first place were the same ones pretending to solve it. Projection got mastered. You got accused of the exact behaviors others were engaged in. Manipulative was the label, while manipulation was the action. Untrustworthy was the label, while betrayal was the behavior. Dramatic was the label, while all drama got orchestrated by others. Toxicity got taken and painted onto you so thoroughly, some part of you started believing it. The confessor said discussions happened about which techniques would work best on you specifically, which tactics would be most effective given your personality, your history, your vulnerabilities. Warfare got customized to target your exact weaknesses, like hackers finding vulnerabilities in a system, like predators identifying weak points in prey. Resources got shared with each other according to what the confessor revealed. Articles about manipulation, videos about psychological control, books about influence and persuasion. A shared library of toxic knowledge got created. Education happened in the art of breaking people down. This got studied like it was a subject needing to be mastered, and you were the final exam. Discussions happened about which techniques were working in group chats. Updates got shared about tactics deployed and results being seen. If someone tried a new approach, reporting back to the group about effectiveness happened. Constant iteration was happening. Constant improvement of methods. Constant refining of psychological warfare based on what worked and what didn't. So let's address the elephant in the room. Why? What drives people to invest this much time, this much energy, this much calculated cruelty into destroying someone? The confessor's answer is going to reveal everything about them, and even more about you. It started with envy. Pure jealousy nobody could admit to themselves. You had something others didn't. Confidence, authenticity, peace, success, the ability to be yourself without apology. Whatever it was made others feel small by comparison. And instead of elevating themselves, tearing you down to their level became the choice. You were a mirror reflecting inauthenticity. Your genuine nature exposed fakeness in others. Your courage to be yourself highlighted cowardice in others. Your ability to thrive without constant approval revealed how dependent others were on external validation. Your existence threatened an entire carefully constructed false reality. Look, you already know the attacks weren't random, and if you're paying attention, you can feel it. Their walls are closing in. So let's talk about what we're doing about it. That's why I built Destiny Engine. It generates personalized sequences that help you rewire betrayal into transcendence, turn isolation into sacred power, and transform their downfall into your rise. We are using the Dark Elite's own weapons against them, taking their declassified consciousness technology that programmed competition and scarcity, and repurposing it to serve cooperative intelligence. The beauty is you don't even have to lift a finger. You put on the headphones, press play, and your subconscious is rewired while your enemies collapse under the weight of their own lies. This is why I created it in the beginning, so everything they did to break you becomes fuel for your purpose. The collective upgrade is underway. Start your Destiny Engine for $1 today and watch divine justice accelerate in your life. Link in the description. But the confessor revealed it became darker than envy. It became a bonding activity for others, a shared mission. A tribe got formed, united by a common enemy, and that enemy was you. Friendships deepened through mutual participation in your destruction. Inside jokes existed about you, shared secrets about the campaign, celebration moments when tactics worked. You became the glue holding others together. The project giving empty relationships meaning, the focus distracting from personal failures. An entire social structure got built around destroying you, which means an entire social structure was actually about you. You weren't a victim, you were an obsession, and obsession is the tribute mediocrity pays to excellence. What the confessor revealed about private discussions of you is perhaps the most telling part of this entire exposure. In moments when nobody outside the group would ever know was the assumption, things would get admitted to each other that would never be said out loud. Actual feelings would get confessed, real motivations, true reasons behind the elaborate campaign. The confessor shared messages where open discussion happened about how threatened people felt by you, how your presence made inadequacy get felt, how your authenticity highlighted phoniness, how your confidence exposed insecurity, how your peace disrupted chaos. These things got written to each other, in the safety of private chats, never imagining these admissions would one day be part of a confession. So here we are, the moment where everything shifts, the confession exists, evidence is documented, truth is out, and chosen one. This changes everything, but not in the way others probably expect. This confession doesn't expose you as the problem. This exposes the conspiracy against you. This doesn't validate the narrative about you. This destroys it. This doesn't prove you were crazy for feeling something was wrong. This proves your instincts were accurate the entire time. Every moment of confusion you felt now makes perfect sense. Every time you questioned yourself now has an explanation. Every instance where you thought maybe you were too sensitive, you were actually picking up on something real. Your gut was screaming truth at you, while lies were being pumped into your ears by others. The gaslighting didn't fully work. Some part of you held on to reality. Some core of your being remained untouched by manipulation. That's not luck. That's not coincidence. That's the mark of someone who's genuinely chosen, because chosen ones can't be completely deceived. Internal compasses get coded differently, and now you have proof, not interpretation, not perception, documented evidence from someone who participated. This isn't your side of the story anymore. This is confession from the other side, admission, guilt made manifest. Think about what this means. Every doubt planted can now be uprooted. Every question you were made to ask yourself can be answered. Every insecurity exploited can be healed. The problem was never you. The dysfunction never originated from your spirit. The toxicity never emanated from your energy. It was all them, all along. The confessor didn't just admit to general wrongdoing. Specifics got provided. Dates of meetings, quotes from conversations, names attached to specific actions, screenshots of the actual group chats, evidence that can't be disputed or explained away. This isn't someone's word against yours anymore. This is documented proof of coordinated psychological warfare. The timeline of the operation got revealed in the confession, when it started, how it escalated, the specific triggers that made doubling down happen, the moments when some people had doubts that got silenced by the group, the progression from casual negativity to full-blown strategic assault. You can now see the entire arc of betrayal laid out like a case study in collective toxicity. Names got named by the confessor. Who said what got revealed? Who came up with which tactics? Who was most enthusiastic about the campaign? Who had occasional guilt that got overridden? Who led the meetings? Who kept the records? Who spread the lies furthest? The accountability is no longer diffused across a faceless group. It's specific, individual, undeniable. The confessor revealed terror is being experienced, panic, scrambling to control damage that can't be contained, desperately trying to get ahead of a story that's already overtaken everyone involved. What you went through is now being experienced by others. The fear of judgment, the anxiety about reputation, the paranoia about what people are saying, except unlike you, what's being felt is actually deserved. Your reputation was built on truth. The reputation of others was built on coordinated lies, and lies collapse eventually, always. Reaching out to people is happening, trying to spin the confession before others hear it, attempting to minimize involvement, claiming force was involved, saying feeling bad always happened, insisting attempts to stop it occurred. The same people who executed military-level coordination are now scrambling like amateurs caught in their own trap. The confessor said turning on each other is happening, blaming each other for taking things too far, pointing fingers about who started it, fighting about who was more involved. The unity built around destroying you is cannibalizing itself now. that being destroyed is happening to them. The tribe formed against you is revealing it had no other foundation. Friendships that seemed strong are showing themselves as relationships built entirely on a shared enemy. Now that the enemy knows the truth and the secret is exposed, nothing is left. No mission, no project, no purpose, just people staring at each other, realizing genuine like for one another doesn't even exist. The confessor described the current state of the group in terms that would be almost comical if the situation weren't so serious. The unity that seemed unbreakable is shattering. The trust people had in each other is dissolving. The secrecy that bound everyone is becoming the weapon being used against each other. Turning on one another with the same viciousness once directed at you is happening. Emergency meetings are happening now. Not about you, about damage control, about self-preservation, about how to minimize individual involvement, about how to make it seem like being less guilty than others is true, about how to spin the confession before it spreads further. The strategic coordination used against you is now being deployed to save people from each other. But let's go deeper, because there's a truth here that transcends this specific betrayal. A truth about why this happened to you. A truth about what it means to be chosen. A truth about the war between authenticity and performance in this world. You got targeted because you represented something that couldn't be controlled. You were real in a world that rewards pretense. You were genuine in spaces celebrating facades. You had courage to be yourself while everyone else performed for approval. Your very existence threatened an entire way of operating. You showed that happiness is possible without manipulation. Success is achievable without strategy. Connection is real when based on truth, and that terrified others. Because if you could thrive being authentic, their calculation was unnecessary. Their performance was pointless. Their pretense was wasted effort. Letting you succeed on your terms couldn't happen because your success questioned an entire approach to life taken by others. Letting you be happy being yourself couldn't happen because your happiness revealed conformity was optional. Letting you thrive without approval couldn't happen because your thriving proved approval from others was worthless. This is what always happens to people who refuse to play the game. The system tries to eliminate them. Collective mediocrity tries to silence them. The comfortable majority tries to shame them back into conformity, because nothing threatens a false structure more than someone living authentically within it. But chosen ones don't break like regular people. Coding for resilience exists at levels ego-driven people can't comprehend. Every attack launched made you stronger. Every lie told refined your truth. Every betrayal committed deepened your wisdom. Destruction was the intention. Forging was the result. Tempering steel, creating something unbreakable, cosmic blacksmiths hammering you into your highest form without realizing it. Every blow struck shaped you into exactly what you needed to become. Burying you was the intention, planting you was the result, and you were always a seed. Think about the resource allocation dedicated to you, the time spent in meetings, the energy invested in strategizing, the mental space occupied by thinking about you constantly, the emotional bandwidth used to maintain lies, the coordination required to keep the campaign running. All of that was resource not being spent on personal growth, on actual goals, on real lives by others. While obsession with you was happening, what were you doing? Building, creating, growing, evolving, living. You were investing in yourself while others were investing in your destruction. You were moving forward while others were stuck in place, unable to progress because all energy was directed at you. That's not others winning. That's you living rent-free in minds while you couldn't even afford space in yours for them. The fact that a coordinated group effort was needed, strategic planning happened, psychological tactics got deployed, and sustained energy over an extended period got spent, and you're still standing, still growing, still thriving, proves you're operating at a level others will never reach. Everything others had got thrown at you, and it wasn't enough. It was never going to be enough. Because defeating someone who's genuinely chosen using tactics designed for regular people isn't possible. While meetings about you were happening, you were building yourself in silence. While attacks were being coordinated, you were developing strength that couldn't be measured by others. While your patterns were being studied, you were evolving beyond comprehension. Others made you their full-time project. You made yourself your masterpiece. This confession is the closing of one chapter and opening of another. You're about to step into a version of yourself that's been waiting, a version that carries no weight from lies told by others, a version that never questions your perception again, a version that tolerates nothing less than authentic connection, a version that's finally, completely, utterly free and terrifyingly powerful. The universe orchestrated this revelation at perfect timing, when you're strong enough to handle it, wise enough to use it as fuel, prepared to transform this information into elevation. This is divine timing, spiritual alignment, the universe saying, watch what I do with everything you survived. Those people who tried to destroy you did you the biggest favor. Removal of themselves happened before you reached your destination, because where you're going, following isn't possible for them. Where you're going requires authenticity, others will never access. Where you're going demands truth, frequency others will never match. Elimination of themselves from your future happened while trying to eliminate you from their present, and in doing so, the way got cleared for connections actually worthy of you. Relationships built on genuine love instead of strategic manipulation. Friendships rooted in truth instead of coordinated lies. A circle that sees you clearly, appreciates you authentically, supports you genuinely. You're about to discover what it feels like to be surrounded by real ones after time spent with snakes. The contrast will be so stark that wonder will happen about how tolerance of what got tolerated was even possible. Looking back will reveal it was all necessary, all purposeful, all part of getting you exactly where you need to be. This confession confirms you're on the right path, that right choices got made, that your intuition guided you correctly even when doubt happened, that your spirit protected you even when alone felt true, that the universe was working for you even when everything felt against you. You're not a victim of what happened. You're a warrior who survived coordinated warfare. You're proof that truth always rises, that light always penetrates darkness, that authenticity always outlasts deception. You're walking evidence that some people are built to withstand storms that destroy others, that some souls transform pressure into diamonds, that some spirits turn betrayal into breakthrough. Now you know exactly what was happening behind your back. You know the meetings held, the roles played, the tactics deployed, the reasons it happened. The confession has given you complete clarity, but here's what you do with that clarity. You use it as fuel. You transform that knowledge into power. You take every detail of betrayal and let it remind you of your strength. Every tactic used that failed is proof of your resilience. Every lie told that you survived is evidence of your truth. Every moment of coordination that you outlasted is confirmation of your endurance. The confession isn't just exposing others. This is revealing you, the real you, the powerful you, the you that survived a coordinated assault designed by people who studied how to break people down. You now have the complete picture, not fragments, not suspicions, not partial truths, the full detailed account of what got done behind your back. And with that complete picture, you can finally close this chapter with absolute certainty. You weren't wrong, you weren't crazy, you weren't too sensitive, you were right about everything. And now everyone else is going to know it too. The confession is spreading. Truth is traveling. Evidence is being seen. And you get to watch as everything you knew gets validated in real time. As every person who doubted you starts to understand. As every narrative built by others crumbles. As every lie told gets exposed. You don't have to do anything but watch divine justice unfold exactly as it should. So, chosen one, take this information in. Let it validate everything you knew in your bones. Let it heal the parts gaslit into doubt. Let it strengthen your resolve to never tolerate less than genuine again. And then release it. Don't carry it as burden. Don't hold it as weapon. Let it be what it is. Confirmation you were right all along. Evidence your intuition is trustworthy. Proof that divine justice is real and always working. And keep moving forward. Keep rising, keep glowing, keep being exactly who you are without apology. Keep living your truth without compromise. Keep shining your light without dimming it for anyone ever again, because that's what chosen ones do. Breaking doesn't happen to us, transformation happens. Crumbling doesn't happen to us, elevation happens. Revenge doesn't get sought. Becoming so successful, so happy, so free that it becomes the greatest response possible is what happens. Your life is about to become so beautiful. This confession will just be a footnote, a chapter explaining how you became unstoppable, a moment marking your complete liberation. Welcome back to yourself, chosen one. The real you, the powerful you, the you that survived a coordinated attack designed to destroy you and came out stronger. The you that was always there beneath lies told by others. The you that's about to show the world exactly what happens when burying someone who was actually a seed gets attempted. You are chosen, you are protected, you are guided, you are unstoppable. And this confession isn't just the beginning of your vindication. This is the proof you already won. Others just didn't know it yet. But learning is about to happen, and rising is about to happen for you, and nothing and no one can stop what's coming for you now. Nothing,